This is part 17 of the ongoing AS and A-Level Java series, and in this episode we are going to be looking at the break statement or the break keyword. So without further ado, let's create our main method, and within the main method, let's maybe first create a loop, a for loop, which is going to count between 1 and 10. So what we need to do is we need to have int 0, then int I is less than int I equal to 0, then I is less than 10, then I plus plus. Right, then within the for loop we simply need to make a decision. So the decision that we want to make, let's say we wanted to skip the number 5. We didn't want to print out the number 5. What we can do is we can make use of an if statement. So we say if I equal 5, we simply want to break, as it were. Then we system dot out dot print line, then we print I. Alright, maybe let's just go ahead and run the code and see what's going on. So we run the code and you realize that we are only going to print from 0 to 4, right? So that's the break statement for you. So let me just explain what's going on. So on line number 5, we are initializing or we are declaring a for statement or a for loop, and we simply want to print the numbers from 0 to 10, is it? Or at least that's what we want, or that's how we've defined our loop on line number 5 there. But now in the body of the if of the for loop, we now have an if statement going on in there, and we simply want to check if I is equal to 5, right? So what do we want to do if I is equal to 5? We want to break. So break simply means is that we want to break out of this particular loop, or we want to execute we want to exit of the loop if we arrive at the situation whereby I is now 5, right? Then what we are doing now is we are simply simply outputting the current value of I right there. So that's what we are doing. So the way this code is working is that it's first initializing I to the value of 0, right? Then checks if I is less than 10, which is going to be true, and it increments I by 1. So it's going to system.out, first check if it first checks to see if I is currently equal to 5. So if it is not equal to 5, it means it's going to ignore this entire if statement. I think we've seen this in the episode of the if statement. So if this is false, it's not going to consider the code that is within that is inside of this if statement, within the body of the if statement. So it's simply going to run this line, is it? Then it goes for the second round of iteration. Then since we've incremented I just before we ended the loop, it means now that the current value of I is now what? It's now 1, and it checks if it is less than 10, then it's true. Then I, that is to say 1 is not equal to 5, so it ignores the entire thing, then output the current value of which is 1. Then it does that for the second round, the third round, I think on the fourth round, when I is now equal to 5, right? It's going to break out of that loop, and it's not going to execute this statement, because remember this expression yields a true, so it means now we consider whatever is within the body of the if statement. So that's why we are breaking out of this particular loop when we get to 4, is it? Maybe let's say we wanted to print the values from 0 up until 5. The way we would do it is we would simply say if I is less than or equal to 5, and that would actually include the number 5 for our output. Actually, if I say less than, it's not going to work. So it's supposed to be I is equal to 5. Actually, suppose let me just say I less than 6. I think that's what we need to do. if I is less than 6, but then I is going to be always less than 6. So we need to, let's put back equal 5. Let's just leave it like that. So just run the code one more time and you see that we get those values from 0 up to 4. So yeah, I think that's just about it for this tutorial. That's the essence of the break statement. And I think maybe one more thing that I should mention is that we've seen this kind of statement, the break statement. We used it inside of the episode on the switch case, right? And it is also used to break out of after executing a statement, you want to break out of that particular test case. So I encourage you to revisit the switch case episode and see again the break keyword. So we use it with loops, and we also use it to break out of decisions for when we are making use of the switch case statement. So I think that's just about it for this tutorial. I'll see you in the next one.